Hello and welcome to Woman Show. I'm your host today. I am Mariam. Just want to let you know how you can get in touch with us before we begin. Our phone number is 773-609-4867. Our email is woman2woman at ccnnewsmedia.org. Our email is www.ccnewsmedia.org. And our YouTube is www.youtube.com/woman2woman TV show. We have a great show lined up for you today. I'll actually sit back, relax, grab a pen and paper. We're going to be giving out some great information, and we'll be right back to begin. Thank you.
I am greater than any addiction.
I am more than any mental health diagnosis.
I'm bigger than any box that you could put me in.
I am a computer genius.
I am a great poet.
I am a community organizer.
I am president of 3 clubs and founder of my own.
We are the ones. See us for all that we are.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes.
Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What about emotions? You know how we get caught up in emotions, and is that spirit also? I don't know, we're depressed, we're happy, we're sad, all these different emotions.
One of the best definitions comes from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he writes about this in his book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, How to Lose Your Mind in Order to Create a New You.
Wow.
Right? And in that particular book, he defines emotions as energy in motion.
Energy in motion.
Energy in motion. So when you think about being happy or sad, jubilant, excitable, all of that is energy. We talked about that in the first segment of the show, that everything, even ourselves, is just an aggregate and how energy has come together. So when you talk about someone being emotional or having emotions, it's just energy in motion. And again, you have the opportunity to direct where that energy flows.
Excellent. Excellent. Whew. How about divine?
Divine. I think of a sacredness when I think about the divine. I think about mother when I think about the divine. Wow, that's such a good one. I get chills, as I'm sitting here thinking about divine, because it is the sacredness of all that is. And it is a way that we can step inside and devote ourselves to something that's larger than who we are in the physical flesh. That's what I think about when I hear divine.
Because it seems like we sometimes underestimate ourselves, our greatness, that greatness that is inside of each one of us. Sometimes we don't realize it's there. Sometimes we look outside of ourselves for power, help, or whatever it is we desire, but it's all inside.
Right. Nothing is outside of you.
Yeah, the power to make it happen is all inside. How about religion?
That's a unique one for me. I think, in my personal opinion, that the way that some individuals go about religion does more harm than good, because it divides. And so I consider myself to be a spiritual individual, because when spirit touches another spirit, because we are all one, there's nothing that we're not saying that is dissimilar to each other. We all think about love and guidance and support and community when we are speaking from spirit. Religion, for me, is just a particular way that individuals have chosen how to tap into their spirit. And it's nothing wrong with that. I believe that it is a beautiful thing when it looks to include people versus exclude them.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Shoring up power, that goes back to Strength Finders, right? That's going and tapping into that power within. Focusing that energy.
Right.
We all have the power to do that.
We all have the power to do that.
Bar none.
Bar
There's
none.
of us that-
there aren't there hasn't been a soul that has come into this physical plane that does not have that power.
That wee little sister out there that's sitting at home right now, not
Right.
feeling
You
very,
too.
not
And
feeling
if
very
you don't
sure
know
of herself.
where to find it, get on over here, woman to woman. We have it for you.
All right, because you said it here and we got it on tape. Bar none. We all have that innate power, that wonderful greatness within ourselves. Silence of voice. Now, some women have experienced a silence of their voice. We're going to close out with this thought. Some of our voices have been silenced. How do we find it again?
By being silent.
By being silent.
Right? You have to,
Interesting.
right, when you have a voice that has been silent, you have to really begin to get quiet so that you can hear her chirping in the background. She's there. And so when you find that place, that divine place, that sacredness where you feel safe, supported, and held, you can sit in silence and really begin to listen, because you have to reacquaint yourself to what she sounds like. And it may be just a little whisper in the beginning, but the more attention that you give her, she'll get stronger and louder and bolder and grander until she is the luminescent star that she always was. So sometimes in order to find the voice that was silenced, you have to become silent.
Wow, that is amazing. Are you amazed? I'm amazed, and I'm just filled with joy. I'm happy today to be sharing such wonderful information about spirit, and it's all true. It's all true, and it's all within you. Each and every one of us has what Ms. Spalding has been sharing with us today, and it's magical. So we're just about out of time. I just want to take one more moment and tell you how to reach us. We are Woman to Woman. Our phone number is 773-609-4867. Our email is woman2woman@ccnnewsmedia.org. Our website is www.ccnnewsmedia.org. And our YouTube is www.youtube.com/woman2woman TV show. Thank you for tuning in with us today. It has been a pleasure. Ms. Spalding.
Thank you so much, Aya.
Thank you.
And again, Wanda Carter, for allowing us this platform to be on. And Woman to Woman audience, we thank you so much. And hope that you come out to Strength Finders in January. Thank you. Women, are you ready? Calling all women to the stage. I am E.R. Spalding, and I am an integration strategist for evolving and emerging leaders. And I need you. On January 26th, which is a Thursday, the women of Chicago will be coming together to allow their voices to be heard. It's an event unlike anyone that you've ever been to. It is Strength Finders, tapping the power within. Now, what does that look like? You and I, we both have an internal power that may have been asleep for a while. Well, now is the time to wake it up, because we are looking to connect with you. We need you. I need you. So come on out. Strength Finders will be a place for us to communicate about our spirit, the intuitive nature that holds the capacity for everything that we have and hold dear to us in this world. Our spirit is what guides us as women. It guides our children. It secures our men. And this evening, the night of Thursday, January 26, 2017, will be an opportunity for you to put your voice in the space and to begin to talk about those things that are important to you. But at the end of it, we just won't be talking about it. We'll be moving and creating an action plan so that we tap truly into the power within and the power that we have collectively in order to move this nation forward. It's nation building time, women, and I need all of you there with us. We will be at the Beverly Branch Library Thursday, January 26th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The location again is the Beverly Branch Library, 2121 West 95th Street. That's on the corner of 95th and Damon. The time is 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. We need you. Come one, come all. I'm E.R. Spalding, integration strategist for you as an evolving leader. And until we chat again, make sure that you continue to evolve to your highest self. Thanks so much.
Things come to us, surprisingly, when we need them. And that was the case when I met her. I had no idea that she would be the one to give me permission to look at the battle inside myself with new eyes and eventually gratitude. Her name is Etty Hillesum, and she ushered me into an exploration of presence, not with shiny boxes and ribbons, and not exactly what we think of as stage presence, but the kind of presence that invites our fears and contradictions out into the open so that we can express our deepest creativity. As an actor, director, and communication coach for people all over the world, I'm always interested in this question of presence because for me, I had no idea how to be present with myself. So growing up, the way I thought I had to be, I was supposed to be, was happy and confident, and that was the face I showed you. But there was a battle going on underneath. I had this belief that if I wasn't happy and confident, bad things would happen. I'd fail. I wouldn't be loved. So the more I tried to be happy and confident, the less I felt happy and confident. It was like a prison. And then strange things started to happen. For a while, I didn't recognize myself in the mirror for about 6 months. I had become unfamiliar with myself. At one point, I didn't recognize whose hands were on the steering wheel. I had a cast of characters in my head arguing about how the script of my life should go. I'm panicking. Pull it together. Don't be a mess. People don't like messes. Do you need people to like you? Well, sometimes. Okay, whatever you do, do not fail. Oh my God, I'm gonna fail. Ooh, that could be bad. Okay, I'm not gonna fail. Ooh, that could be bad too. People don't like it when you're too successful. They could be angry. Don't let other people's anger push you around. What are you, weak? I am not weak. I am not weak. You are a mess. Don't think about this. Don't talk about this. Definitely don't do a public speech about it. Oh my God. You are fine. You are happy and confident. So, it's funny now. So I lived at that intersection for a long time. And I thought I had two choices, right? Either or. It's not really a choice. Either I shut it down, or I get consumed by it. And it was Etty who showed me through presence that I could have a creative relationship with myself. And then that might change my relationship to the world. So hers was a voice that was meant to be totally annihilated. September 7th, 1943, Etty Hillesum, a Dutch Jew, is packed onto a Nazi transport train along with her family. The train headed for Auschwitz, Poland, to the death camps, passes by an open field. Etty throws a postcard out of the window of the train. A farmer in a field picks it up. The postcard reads, "I am sitting on my rucksack in the middle of a full freight car. Father, mother, and Misha are a few cars away. In the end, the departure came without warning. Thank you for your kindness and care. We left the camp singing." Huh? I mean, I needed to understand how this woman could sing on the way to her death in Auschwitz. Okay, this was a person who had problems before the war. I mean, she was sometimes depressed. She was periodically suicidal. She didn't know how many men she wanted to date. I mean, it was a lot. Just like all of us struggling. And then this war comes along. How did she become someone so grateful for her life amidst unimaginable torture? And I thought, you know what? If she could find a way through, I can give it a whirl. I'm not suicidal. I'm not facing a Holocaust, but I am having a modern-day existential crisis. So I pored over the journals, the diaries and letters of Etty, pored over them to learn from them. And finally, I decided I wanted to make a play about it. So myself and two very gifted artists and a wonderful collaborative team created and produced the world premiere of The Wrestling Patient in Boston. Etty says that the main difficulty in writing about her life is a sense of shame, fear of letting go. So she, on instructions from her mentor, decides that she's going to write everything down, unedited, messy. And through this process, she begins to liberate herself from the inside by facing what she refers to as her inner battlefield. So I want to read a few things to you about what she experiences on her inner battlefield. An incident with a German friend, her housemate, Kathi. "Sometimes, when I read the newspapers, I'm suddenly beside myself with anger, cursing, and swearing at the Germans." This is Etty. "And I know I do it deliberately in order to hurt Kathi, even if it is against a dear friend. I can't bear the thought that she can't share my hatred. And then I nastily say to her, 'Your whole nation must be destroyed, root and branch, they are all scum.' And then I feel terribly ashamed and deeply unhappy." On another incident, "At the pharmacy, a man poked me with his finger. 'Are you allowed to have that?' 'Yes, sir. Jews are still allowed toothpaste.' Headaches, stomach aches, the feeling of being crushed under a heavy weight. Mortal fear in every fiber, complete collapse, lack of self-confidence, aversion, panic." Okay, so even if you haven't been in the middle of a battlefield, we know what shock feels like. We know humiliation, fury. If you've grown up in a dangerous neighborhood, losing a parent at an early age, dealing with an illness, being bullied, even being betrayed by a friend, when that wave of feeling comes over us, the last thing we do is want to become present. We don't want to look. We want to shove it away, or we get consumed in it. And Etty's the same way. She has no power over Jewish stars and curfews, but she wants to have power over her heart. This is her battle. Even in these circumstances, to become unlimited, to have power over her heart. And what does she do? She does what we all do at the beginning when we are facing something difficult and it's unfair. She resists. So this is from the wrestling patient. I'm not ready. I don't know anything about war. Big events caused by insignificant men who, if they wrote books, I wouldn't read them. Men I wouldn't sleep with, so by my standards, I shouldn't even be in their war. But here I am, yelling, fighting, praying like everybody else. So here's the moment that she stops resisting and she's going to make a choice to do something, to open, even though she doesn't know where it's going to go. She opens a space. She says, "Teach me to change. I want to stop the war within me, to cut out all the little cowardices and violences in which I am participating, so that I can confront this war up close no matter who it resides in." So in this moment, she realizes, okay, there's two wars. There's one out here, and there's one in here, and I can start to work on this. I still have agency. So how does she do it? How does she work with presence? So, this is her battlefield inside her journal. This is where she avails herself. And she doesn't just write down the things that she wants to think about herself. She gives space to everything, and that's the beginning, to welcome it, to give all those things that we war with inside ourselves a space to struggle and be accommodated and come to rest. Can we be big enough? The next thing she does is she realizes, you know what, if I numb my pain, I'm probably going to numb my joy because they live in the same neighborhood. She brings compassion and stillness into her turning inward. She turns inward. She makes a practice of it. Okay, so I just want to say, there would be a lot less anger in the world and probably several million therapists out of a job if we all just knew how to turn inward with compassion, right? It's something that can be learned, and Etty gets help. And what she finds is that the more she opens up to her suffering, the more room she has to experience beauty. So, even though her outer circumstances become extremely limited, really limited, her inner is not. And she brings all of the love that she has cultivated within herself into the camps, a tremendous inner resource. And for the year or so that she is in Westerbork Transit Camp, she makes a difference in people's lives because now she can bear exquisite witness to them with exquisite presence. So I just want to read you a little bit about what she says, her letters from Westerbork Transit Camp. The misery here is quite terrible. And yet, late at night, when the day has slunk away into the depths behind me, I often walk with a spring in my step along the barbed wire. And then it soars straight from my heart. I can't help it. The feeling that life is glorious and magnificent right before our eyes. Mass murder. But the sky is full of birds. The purple lupins stand up so regally. 2 old women have sat down on a box for a chat. The sun is shining on my face. We may suffer, but we must not succumb. So I see this radical journey in 2 gestures. The willingness to turn inward and open and make space for all of who we are. The choice to throw a postcard out into a field. In that, I see someone saying, I'm willing to be present. She bet on humanity, hers and ours. Do we ever know the value of our innermost choices? Do we ever know that the battle that we are fighting in our own private lives could help someone else? Etty could not have known that her journals and letters would reach forward and touch my life. So if you find yourself at the intersection of confused and struggling, turn inward. Throw postcards, because in the end, we never know who we touch. Thank you.
Let's start with an overview of what this chapter is about. What is inner space?
So I observed that in many people's lives, there seems to be no space. There's only one thing after another, one thought after another, one thing to do after another, one thing to be worried about after another. So that I noticed this absence of space in human beings. And really, that inner space or spaciousness is what we could also call the stillness. If there is no space in you, spaciousness, where suddenly a gap arises in between thoughts. If there's no spaciousness, then you haven't touched yet the spiritual dimension. And this book, I believe, is helping many people to find that space within.
You say on page 227, space consciousness means that in addition to being conscious of things, which always comes down to sense perceptions, thoughts, and emotions, there is an undercurrent of awareness. Awareness implies that you are not only conscious of things, but you're also conscious of being conscious.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about.
Yes, and that's an amazing thing. At first, if you just listen to being conscious, the mind says, what does that mean? You have to experience what that is to know what it means. So to be conscious of being conscious, for example, you can do it by looking at something, just if people who haven't had a taste of this yet.
Yes.
For example, you look at a flower and you're conscious of the image, what you see, the sense perception. While you look at a flower, can you sense yourself as the presence that is looking, that is making the perception possible? And then you have two dimensions. You are conscious of being conscious, and you are conscious of what you're looking at. You live in two worlds at the same time. And that means in the background of your life, there is suddenly a vast but intensely alive peace. Because being conscious of being conscious is very peaceful. That's where the true inner peace arises.
And that if you don't have that in your life, if you're not able to find that space between the thinking and the perception, if you're not, then
you lose yourself
in things.
In things.
And
you
in the
lose
world.
yourself in the world.
Yeah.
And you lose yourself in your own mind. You continuously get drawn into every thought that arises.